Selamat datang, Prof. Hafiz. Suara saya terdengar?
Assalamualaikum. Ya, selamat tengah hari. Boleh dengar? Ya, ya, jelas, jelas. Jelas ke? Sebab di sini ada depan bilik saya ni ada mesin rumput. Agak bingit sikit.
Suaranya lancar ya, Prof. Hafiz ya? Terdengar baik ya?
Jelas, boleh dengar jelas?
Jelas ya?
Ke ada bunyi mesin rumput.
Oke, oke, oke. Mau update dulu apa begitu? Oke, Prof. Hafiz nanti the first speaker will be Dr. Himi, and then the second one will be your presentation. Is that okay? No
Yeah,
problem?
yeah. No problem, no problem. It's much better because in front of my room there's somebody is mowing the grass, mowing the
I
grass.
see. Okay.
It's a little bit loud outside, yeah.
Oke, oke. Bapak Ibu semuanya kita menunggu sebentar ya, sekitar 3 menit karena ada beberapa yang masih belum hadir di ruang offline dan kita juga menunggu beberapa yang hadir di ruang online.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's very loud. How about now? Good afternoon, selamat siang, Prof. Hafiz.
Ya, selamat siang Dr. Himi. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we can hear you. How about my voice? Is it clear or not so clear?
Yeah, okay. Just now there was echoing on your side.
Gimana? Yang di ruang Zoom masuk? Yang di ruang Zoom suara saya bisa didengar apa tidak?
Ya, ya, bisa.
Bagus?
Jelas.
Oke.
Ya, bagus.
Apa dinyalakan? Gini.
Nanti pasti ngomong ya.
Pas ngomong. Oh, tapi di Zoom clear juga. Oke. Di ruangan aja. Mulai. Thank you.
Baik, kita mulai ya, Bapak Ibu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Profesor Hafiz, saya izin pakai bahasa Indonesia.
Ya.
Nanti kita mix match dengan bahasa Inggris juga kalau misal katakanlah susah untuk menerima. Tapi basically saya akan membawakan dengan bahasa Indonesia. Izin untuk teman-teman semuanya yang hadir. Selamat siang, Bapak Ibu yang hadir di seminar Summer School. Jadi untuk informasi saja, saya akan menjadi moderator pada hari ini. Perkenalkan, nama saya Bramantio Wikantioso. Akan membantu jalannya kegiatan pada siang hari ini yang pada hari ini kita akan melaksanakan Summer School yang ke-11. Jadi Summer School ini merupakan kegiatan yang reguler dilakukan oleh Zoology Terapan. Jadi pusat riset di BRIN, salah satu pusat riset di BRIN yang saya pikir satu-satunya ya yang concern terhadap rayap di Indonesia pada umumnya. Karena kalau mencari informasi mengenai rayap di BRIN ya, saya pikir tidak ada di tempat lain, hanya ada di pusat riset Zoology Terapan. Karena semua risetnya berkumpul di situ. Kegiatan ini reguler kita lakukan. Summer School ini merupakan wadah untuk sharing session sebenarnya untuk Bapak Ibu semuanya, periset internal dan eksternal. Jadi kita tidak menutup hanya teman-teman peneliti, tapi juga teman-teman dari profesional dan juga teman-teman dari akademik ataupun teman-teman mahasiswa ya. Kita membagikan apapun yang kita bisa di sini dan kita juga mengundang beberapa narasumber. Pada hari ini kita kedatangan narasumber dari Malaysia, ada Prof. Dr. Abdul Hafiz Abmajid. Dan nanti Bapak Ibu silahkan jika ingin berdiskusi atau bertanya kepada Prof. Hafiz atau misal Dr. Himi silahkan bisa menggunakan waktunya semaksimal mungkin. Karena I believe these two speakers is actually world-class level speakers, and you're very lucky. Every one of you very lucky because you can attend this seminar and then listen to both researchers' talks and presentation as well. Jadi silahkan dimanfaatkan sebaik-baiknya, ditanyakan apa yang ingin ditanyakan terkait dengan termite management. Sebelum kita buka, seperti biasa akan ada opening remarks dari pusat riset kepala pusat riset zoologi Terapan. Ada yang di hari ini diwakilkan oleh Dr. Isyana. Pada Dr. Isyana, waktu dan tempat kami persilahkan.
Terima kasih Mas. Suara saya masuk ya ke Zoom? Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Just second. Yeah. On behalf of the head of the Research Center for happy to welcome every one of you to this applied zoology seminar. And before we start, allow me to express a sincere apology from our head of the Research Center because at this moment she is not being to be able to join this seminar because she is now on her flight from Makassar to Jakarta. But still, I think we can enjoy this seminar because we have two excellent speakers here. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Abdul Hafiz from the School of Biological Science, University Science Malaysia. And also thank you so much, Dr. Himi from the Research Center for Applied Zoology, BRIN, for coming. And also thank you for all the participants who's coming here at Cibinong, BRIN, and also all the participants joining us online through Zoom. Thank you so much. And I think everyone can be actively engaged into the discussion. And I hope everyone can get any new information, any new idea, and also maybe new opportunity for future collaboration. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for the opportunity and enjoy the seminar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Isyana atas opening remarks-nya. Sebelum kita mulai, saya juga ingin menyapa teman-teman dari Aspami. Ada Ketua Aspami Pak Zulkirman. Terima kasih sudah hadir Pak. Dan juga teman-teman dari DPD dan juga DPP yang lain. Apa kabar Pak Zulkirman?
Baik, alhamdulillah sehat. Assalamualaikum
Alhamdulillah
warahmatullahi
sehat, Pak.
wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih sudah join Pak.
Siap, insya Allah join.
Siap. Saya juga ingin menyapa teman-teman dari Pest Control, ada dari Rentokil, kemudian ada dari Fumida, ada dari PCO, dan teman-teman Fumida join offline di sini kalau teman-teman mau lihat sebenarnya. Ada Mas Fauzan dan juga ada Mas Alvin ya. Dari Fumida juga join offline, datang ke Cibinong. Kita welcome teman-teman yang ingin datang ke BRIN, silahkan. Not only researchers but also professional. Feel free to come to BRIN and collaborate with us together. Dan juga ada teman-teman dari akademik juga, ada dari beberapa universitas saya lihat, ada dari juga teman-teman dari pusat riset yang lain juga ada yang join. Terima kasih sudah hadir. silahkan dimanfaatkan. Kita tanya yang sebanyak-banyaknya nanti pada kedua speaker ya, Pak Himi dan juga Prof. Hafiz karena memang mereka pakar di rayap. Baik, untuk yang pertama saya akan memperkenalkan speaker yang pertama. The first speaker is Dr. Himi. Actually, he's a researcher, professor at Research Center for Applied Zoology, BRIN, and he specialized on the bioecology and the management of food-attacking insect. Master dan PhD-nya didapatkan dari Kyoto University, sama dengan saya, satu lab, satu laboratorium. Kita sama-sama satu alumni di Kyoto University. Dan spesialisasi dari Dr. Himi adalah drywood termite nesting biology. Dengan disertasinya menggunakan non-destructive monitoring teknik. Pada saat itu dia menggunakan X-ray computed tomography. Ini sangat luar biasa dan sangat-sangat inovatif. Yang sekarang belum
tapi yang belum digoreng ada di freezer.
Belum banyak yang melakukan juga. Mungkin Dr. Himi adalah salah satu pionir dalam hal ini. Dia juga mendapatkan beberapa pendanaan, pertama dari Hope Fellowship from Japan Society for Promotions of Science, JSPS, in 2016. And he has led research projects under the Japan Asian Science Technology Innovations Platform, atau kita sebut JASTIP, yang didapatkan pada 2017. Dan dia Pak Himi pernah menjabat sebagai Secretary General of the Pacific Rim Termite Research Group pada tahun 2020-2024. Dan sekarang menjabat sebagai Chairman dari Indonesian Society for the Study of Wood Attacking Insect, atau dalam Indonesianya kita sebut MAPRKA ya, Masyarakat Peneliti Serangga Penyerang Kayu. Tanpa berlama-lama, mungkin Pak Himi sudah siap mau sharing presentasinya. Silakan Pak Himi.
Thank you very much, Mas Bram. Terima kasih, Mas Bram. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to this important seminar. So, first of all, I would like to thank Professor Hafiz from USM for his time and availability to attend this important forum. And I would like to welcome all of you as well, Pak Zulkirman from Asparmi and all friends and colleagues from universities and research centers and from BIM. So welcome, and today I would like to share with you important topic on related to economic and social impact of termite management services in Southeast Asia. Part of this presentation, actually, I would like to share with you about the study on the model simulation of market size in termite management services in Southeast Asia. Actually, as PAMI, they held Best Academy Forum last month in Yogyakarta, and at the time we have collaboration to share about the importance of termite management services in Indonesia. And today I extend the model to try to calculate the size of market in termite management services in Southeast Asia. So if you would like to discuss the topic related to termite management today, you can save your question later, because after me, Prof. Hafiz will present, and my presentation may be kind of like an introduction on his topic, because he will bring important topic related to from the field to the from the lab to the field, which is related to the study and the application of termite research. Okay, so first of all, I would like to share with you that the estimation of termite global economic impact is around more than 40 billion per year US dollar. So Professor Fedoway from University of Florida in her review mentioned that this is the projected economic loss in which 80% damage caused by the infestation of Saturnian termites, and the remaining damage caused by dry wood and maybe damp wood. And in Southeast Asia, termite control is ranked as one of the most important source in termite management industry. This is based on the APMA survey. APMA is one of association in Asia Pacific, Asia Pest Management Association. So they have surveyed that termite management services is one of the most important source of income and also the most problematic they face in termite management, urban pest management industry. So you can see, like maybe it's quite familiar in your surrounding area, the termite attack on structural buildings. This was taken in Bekasi in West Java, and you can imagine, like, our region is prone to earthquake. So when the earthquake happened, you can imagine the risk faced by the resident of this particular building. So it's very dangerous to live under the house that being actively infested by subterranean termite. And some report also you can see here. So they damage the banknote. So better to save your money in bank rather in your home. So because termite can come to you. Not only rupiah, it's also US dollar, even Chinese yuan. They attack the banknote as well. And even on something unthinkable, this is you can see like mango also attacked by subterranean termite. Actually, you can see here the foraging trail coming from the floor and attack on the carton, and mango inside. They also attacked by subterranean termite. It's unthinkable, unthinkable. So this was taken, the information by Dr. Pramadya actually at the time in 2017, and I think we published one conference paper on this issue. So it's also the impact in urban area is very real. So this is the story, very terrifying because because this is a new house. Within 3 months, when the resident enter the house, the subterranean termite swarm from the main door, the wooden frame, and within 6 months, the gypsum board collapsed, and also they found like a drywood termite pellets on the window frame. So, of course, this impact in urban area become market opportunity for termite management services in Southeast Asia. So this is the typical we call it perumahan, typical housing area in Indonesia. So mostly in I think for termite management services, they offer the treatment is like in spot treatment. Like some house, they request some treatment. However, actually the townhouse, the typical townhouse in Indonesia is rumah tersambung. It's like the typical townhouse. It's better like to offering like area-wide treatment because you can see in the termite treatment cannot be completed in one house. It must be done in area-wide management. So it might become market opportunity and how to expand your business in termite management services. And this is a survey taken by ASEAN Pest Management Association in 2024. And the question is related to how you rank the importance of urban pest in your country. And you can see here in all the countries surveyed by ATMA, termite is ranked as #1. So it's very important industry and services. And of course, it doesn't mean that the least rank pest is not important, but termite is considered one of the most important urban pests in Akma region. And for Indonesian market, you can see here that the estimated loss annually from termite infestation is projected around 8.6 trillion rupiah, or more than 525 million US dollar per year. And you can see from this slide, this is the profile of the common types of termite management services offered by PCO or industry. Is like post-construction termite treatment, which is around 69%, and termite exclusion inspection services is dominating as well, around 81%, and pre-construction is considered very low here in Indonesia. So it should be encouraged. I mean, we have to open new market in this common type of service, because pre-construction is actually very percentage. And in total, based on the data from ASPAMI, for instance, like we have like more than 400 pest control companies offering termite control services, and 40% of them based in Jakarta, which 43% revenue roughly coming from termite management services. And here is the primary services usually offered by PCO or a pest company. So for those not familiar with termite management services, so I have illustration here. Like this is like the liquid termiticide used to have like a treated zone or barrier zone. It's like a soil treatment. So, and the other way of treatment, the other popular way of treatment is using a baiting treatment, a bait service. And this is the primary services. You can see like 47% using like liquid termiticide, with 17% using baits, and combination of bait and liquid is like 33%. Which means like mostly the company want to have an integrated approach between soil treatment and bait treatment. And if we talk about the type of termiticide, we can have four types of termiticide, which classified into type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. So type 1 is termiticide with high repellency level. So it means to have a prevention effect rather than killing termite. So it's very useful for And the next is type 2, which the repellency level is lower than type 1. They have dose dependent, fast acting. I'm sorry, so I think sampai mana tadi?
Sebelum ini, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I repeat because there's some internet problem here in our office. So yeah, type 1 and type 2 is suitable for soil treatment and pre-construction application. And type 3 and type 4 is suitable for post-construction treatment. Type 3 and type 4 is non-repellent active ingredient. So for the type 3, they have dose dependent and slow acting. And also usually the formulation type is liquid, using such as fipronil, imidacloprid, and sometimes they have also secondary effect as well. So they can be used as bathing in certain level. However, mostly the formulation is in liquid. The type 4 is those termiticide that mostly used for bathing treatment using a slow-acting active ingredient like bisphenol, hexafluoron, nofifluoron, so suitable for post-construction. Only hearing the explanation from the table is maybe not so easy for you to chew, okay? So we have the illustration here is to make it easier to understand the types of termiticide. So for the type 1, you can see here, this is high repellency. So the termite, they avoid the treated zone. So for instance, you have house that treated by soil, treated by termiticide with type 1. So termite will avoid the treated zone and they don't come to your house or your treated area. For the type 2, they have less repellency level, they have fast acting effect. So they still have good repellency. So in case like termite encountering the treated zone, they will die. And mostly also they will avoid the treated zone. For the type 3 is non-repellent effect. So of course termite will come to even to the treated zone and will die caused by the contact with the chemicals. And sometimes they have secondary repellency can be used for kind of like bait, but not really a baiting system. For the type 4, this is the very common we use in baiting services using slow-acting active ingredient. So termite attack and consume the bait, and then they bring back the nest and using prophylaxis, allo blooming. So they will share they distribute and disseminate the active ingredient into the whole colony and eliminate them. Okay, that's the introduction related to termite management services. I think it's very common even in Indonesia and other countries as well. So I would like to move into the market size estimation termite management services. So we define the market size as total revenue potential of termite management industry or services that represent the aggregate demand for a product or service. So this is not talking about termite management market value. This is more macro level because we want to calculate the potential revenue of the entire sector in urban area, not in agricultural. So to differentiate with the market value that may be used by some companies to project value of termite management services for micro level. So this is industry-wide demand. And we have four sub factors that we integrate this model, combine environmental risk, economic capacity, market dynamic, and regulatory impact. So these four sub-factors will be used to calculate the market size, to construct the model. And for the first factor, we have like market core demand. And for the second one, we have like economic modulator and also like competitive saturation index and also regulatory impact multiplier. And for the first sub-factor for market core demand, we include some parameters such as urban area, because we talk about urban here, we don't talk about the agricultural sector. And of course, we also consider the rate of home ownership. So if you don't own the property, it's unlikely that you will request the termite management services. And also we calculate as well termite infestation risk and the value of property as well, so that we can have the good model for market demand. And this is how we calculate the termite infestation risk. So we include 6 parameters as well in termite infestation risk model, with factors like climate, soil type, vegetation, the wood percentage, the wood structure inside your building, and building age, and also attack history. And this factor can be weighed into certain percentage, and we calculate this risk index from scale 0 to 1. It means if close to 1, it means the risk is higher. The higher the value, the higher the termite infestation risk. So, and also we also make a calculation on the natural degradation model. So we like a natural decay, also like termite impact coefficient. So we use a certain standard to. So for instance, you use high quality timber, it means the degradation model will calculate that it will be longer lifespan rather than if you use unknown quality timbers. And interestingly, if with this model, we like in the capital of Asian countries, okay, so this is the score of termite infestation risk index, and Manila is ranked as the highest score of termite infestation risk, followed by Jakarta, Bangkok, and Singapore, and Kuala Lumpur. I don't include Penang in this model, sorry, Prof. Hafiz, because we want to combine like the capital of the countries. But mostly you can see here, the termite infestation risk index is very high. It's between 0.7 to 0.8, almost 0.9. So it's very high risk. And you can see here the key factors like the climate and hydrology, the urban infrastructure, even environmental interface is also playing factors here that influencing the risk of termite infestation in the region. And we also calculate the model based on the economic viability modulator. So we consider like purchasing power parity, and also we calculate the market awareness. Market awareness is very important because it's if the society has a good awareness of the importance of termite management services, then the decision to acquire the services will be higher. And this is like the simulation here, like the awareness, consideration, action, and then they can decide to use the services. And this is the profile of, if you're not familiar with the Indonesian GDP and also the region, the Asian level. So the GDP here, the profile of Southeast Asian countries, okay. Singapore is the highest country with the GDP, with 88K US dollar per year, and followed by Malaysia, Brunei. Brunei is also, it's very high. Brunei, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. But from the purchasing power parity, you can see here like Indonesia is dominating the value. Purchasing power parity is like this. If you have $1, for instance, $1 US in Indonesia, you can buy 3 bottles of Coca-Cola. But if you live in Singapore, for instance, maybe $1 may be not enough to buy 1 bottle of Coca-Cola, for instance. So it means having $1 here in Indonesia and having $1 in Singapore is different. This purchase power parity calculate these factors, and You can see here from the data, and Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, even the GDP per capita is lower than those of Singapore and Malaysia, but they have a comparatively higher PPP, purchasing power parity. And specifically to Indonesia, the spatial structure of Indonesia's economy is not that balanced actually. So you can see here like Java and Bali is dominating the the GDP, the economy of Indonesia. So almost 60% the economic structure dominated by Java and Bali, and also the population. That's 56% Indonesian population is accumulated in Java. But if you want to see like the growth of the area, you can see like in Java, and it's mostly saturated market. So you can see here like on the green is like more than 7% GDP growth. So yeah, we can have a good business projection here if you can see the GDP annual growth in other area other than Java and Sumatra. And calculating market awareness, we considering three important factors like education, information, and behavior as the component to calculate the societal awareness. So it means like the higher the education, and we hypothesize will be they have a better awareness of the services. So here we want to compare between like Jakarta, Jogja, and Bali, and the score of market awareness is like Jakarta is lower than Bali and higher than Yogyakarta. Even Bali, Y is very high. You can see like Bali is the highest, I mean, the most important tourism spot in Indonesia. So many cultural buildings, so many wooden materials used for aesthetics and buildings and structures. So the simulation of market awareness generated that Bali is the highest, even compared to Jakarta. And interestingly, Yogyakarta is also kind of traditional town with palace and traditional Japanese house. However, the projection of market awareness is 0.4. So to make it easy, from 10%, maybe between only 4 people that 4% that are really aware of the importance of climate management services. This is the simulation of this market awareness index. And yeah, interestingly, like Dr. Bramantio, he has a direct real survey in Kota Gede. Actually, the number of market awareness is lower than this model, actually 0.2, if I'm not mistaken. So 0.2 is the real survey in Kota Gede. So actually, the market awareness simulation here is comparatively higher with when Dr. Bramantio, he went to Kota Gede and made the survey with society. So yeah, 0.4 is maybe low for the size of Yogyakarta. And using the market awareness, the business enterprise can adopt behavioral, strategy. For instance, like for Jakarta, property managers from the model is 42% will certainly use the service, and you can offer them preventive contract. For Bali hotel operators, for instance, for the model, they calculate like 65% will certainly use the services, and maybe you can have like annual certification strategy for them. And for Yogyakarta, because considerably lower awareness, you can use like a post-infestation services offer to them. So this market awareness is important if you want to, to offer the strategy and to increase the revenue of your business. And even when when the market awareness is already very high, you can offer the service with like IoT monitoring, using like IoT based termite management. So it's kind of like smart system. Like you don't need to go every day to the area to monitor the termite infestation, but using your computer, using your mobile phone, you can detect the infestation of termite, subterranean termite, and you can optimize the human resources and your costs in the area in which the market awareness is already very high. So this is the illustration using the IoT in termite management. For the area like Papua, in which the market awareness is very low, the first thing you do is you want to improve the awareness first, using basic information, using promotion, using social media to introduce the importance of termite management services. And of course, also saturation index is very important. The competitors in the area you have service is also very important. And this is the model to calculate the competitive saturation index. We use like HHI index. It's like imagine you have road and you can calculate how many cars using that road. So if too many cars, yeah, it's stuck. So HHI index is using that logic to calculate the saturation index. And here you can see the value. So this is like the saturation index between like Yogyakarta, Jakarta, and Bali. Of course, if you want to expand the market, you can use this index to project how competitive the market already in your area. And also the regulatory impact, the regulatory impact multiplier. So if the government has good regulation and good, mandate to have termite management services in your area, it can induce the business growth, from 1.0, it means no impact at all, no regulation, to 2.0. So this is like a strong catalytic effect. So like legal mandates, financial incentive, and enforcement of the law, whether it's executed or not by the government. So here is the range of the GR value, the regulatory impact multiplier, from 1.0 neutral into the transformative is 1.8 multiplier effect. So in this case, like in case of Indonesia, so we already have a good regulatory list from law, government regulation, ministry regulation, even local government regulation. So the thing is, the problem is the enforcement of this regulatory is not, sometimes not easy. So for instance here, like we talk about the building reliability from the law number 28, 2002. So the regulation mentioned about the building reliability, which one of them, before you build a structure, you have to employ like pre-construction and post-construction as well. So, however, the big question is whether this is enforced by law or not. And this is the final model, and we combine the core demand, the economic factors, the competitive saturation index, and government regulatory push, and we employ the correction. And the final model predict that in case of Indonesia, the total market size will be 1.3 billion in 2025 alone, or 16.5 trillion rupiah, in which 24.4% is dominating by market in Java and Bali, and 35.6% is not other islands. And this is the distribution of market size in Indonesia based on the island group. You can see Java, Bali, 64.4%, followed by Sumatra, Sulawesi, Indonesian Borneo or Kalimantan, and other islands. And we extend this model into we can compare using this model to for instance, comparing the market in Jakarta and Singapore, for instance, in which we predict Singapore have 2.5 larger market compared to Jakarta, even though the urban area is smaller than Jakarta. And also the revenue density is very high in Singapore, at 1.1 million US dollar per kilometer square. Compared to Jakarta is quite low. However, you can see here, of course, because the GDP per capita is significantly different. Okay, so you can use this model. You can use compare the city to city and country to country. And for instance, here we can project the market size in Southeast Asian region. So Indonesia, I mentioned before, 1.03 billion US dollar, followed by Thailand, 820 million US dollar, and Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia, Singapore. Okay, so but we can have also a strategic recommendation between countries, because Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam is considered like high growth cluster, while Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand is already premium services cluster. So it's different strategy, and you can develop different business management strategy in certain countries. Also, in the countries with emerging opportunity cluster like Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, you can have also different strategy. So using this model is very useful when you want to to predict the market in certain area. And that's all from me. After this, maybe you can have a better understanding from Prof. Hafiz when he said about from the lab to the field. How the advance of termite management science so far in the region. Thank you very much.
Baik, terima kasih. Thank you very much, Dr. Himi, for the presentations. I think it's really detailed and probably it was really interesting for everyone of you, especially the business sector professionals, I think. Sebelum kita lanjut ke Prof. Hafiz, saya juga ingin menyapa. I want to greet my friends also from Malaysia, Mr. Hans Lim. Are you there, Mr. Hans Lim?
Salam, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Terima kasih juga teman-teman yang sudah hadir dari PCO. Sepertinya kita nambah terus sampai 164 ya. Luar biasa. And the next presenters, I think I will introduce Professor Hafiz. He's a professor of urban and industrial entomology at the School of Biological Science, University of Sains Malaysia, where he also serves as the chairman of the Entomology and Parasitology program. He specializes in the biology, ecology, sustainable management of urban insect pests, and particularly termites, bedbugs, cockroach, ants, and flies as well. With over 100 scholarly publications and extensive involvement in national and international research grants, I think he is actively engaged in bridging the academic research with the industrial sectors as well. His leadership contributes to capacity building, academic excellence, and also the advancement of pest management strategies in Southeast Asia. So without further ado, I think Prof. Hafiz also is ready to speak. Time is yours, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pramianto. Thank you everyone for inviting me. Let me share my screen first. Hopefully it's workingly fine. Okay, let me share.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it small screen or big screen?
No. We see your page.
Okay.
I think you need to swap displays. Yeah.
Okay, I swap. Now better?
That's better. Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all. Thank you again, Brin and Dr. Himi, for inviting me for the topic. So basically, I would like to talk about how we integrated the lab information, basically how the lab study and how we make sure that the lab study is measurable in the field of applications. This means that we integrating the science and industry practices in termite management. So this is very important because some of the data is good, but it's not being presented well to be applicable in the field, and how the lab data will help for product registration, especially for termite products. So I will go through a little bit of example on how this termiticide, especially in Malaysia, how we regulate it in the lab setting, and how we develop the concentration and use it for the registration purpose, especially in Southeast Asia, but focusing here in Malaysia situation. So I'm Professor Abdul Hafiz. I'm a professor of urban industrial entomology, and basically my lab is household and structural urban entomology. We focus more on the managing of urban insect pests, but also highlighted on the biological aspect, focusing on the population genetics and also developing the marker to understand the ecological and behavior. So let me proceed on my next slide. So I think Dr. Himi have mentioned about how big the industry, especially on the termite industry. So this is an overall overview. So we can see that the pest control market in the world is very big. I think in Malaysia, especially in Malaysia, pest control industry is blooming like everywhere. I think it's one of the big business all around the year, because pests in Malaysia is around a year. Like other country, like four season country, usually the pests only occur during summer season. But in Southeast Asia, it's hot and humid, and all these pests are all around the year. As long there are sunshine, there's water, there's place for them to live, there's always a pest around. And we can see that the growth of this pest control service market is growing compared to other industry in the market. So we can see that there's many key players overall, and also the market segmentation for pest control is always focusing in the residential. That's why in residential, is very crucial, especially for pest control industry, to interfere in this industry, especially on the because of the residential. Because most of the pest control, you see, because of their job, focusing more on residential, and also for commercial space like the hotel. I think now the law, especially like in Malaysia also, it's important, for example, like big restaurant and also hotel management to hire pest control to do a regular maintenance in managing pests in general. So you can see that also here the market size of the pest, and you can see that the big aspect or the big chunk actually focus more on the termite, and you can see that termite control contribute about 30%. And we can see that the forecast, the market size from 2.16 billion and increasing up more to the year 2032. And we can see that this market, especially on termite, I'm talking about termite, now with the old conventional method, now people are looking on the more advanced, not advanced, but more on the green and sustainable approach. In the same time, also save costs, because sometimes several things that we found or we discover in lab, but practically when we apply to the field, it doesn't really last long. It doesn't suit the suitable or the sustainable approach in the field situation. So just generally, basically, when we do research in aspects of urban entomology in general, this includes termite especially, and also other related urban pests. Basically, the most aspect is the fundamental research. This is very important for industry players. Without the fundamental research, there will be no applicable research. That means that fundamental research is very important part of the first step of the research. Without fundamental, we will understand the biology, the behavior, and nutrition of termite, because today we're talking about termite. We will not understand on how the new product, the new termiticide, the new technology that can be incorporated with these insects' behavior and ecology. So this is very important because it helps us to understand better, especially when we talk about the adaptation of insects in urban environment, because there's always issue with climate change. We can see that now climate change play a major role in the behavior and adaptation of insects, because like us human, insects also they have to adapt to the changes of the climate, and this lead to the evolution. So that means that when we talk about this, one control strategies will not last forever. So basically, we introduce new approach in managing insect pests, but after 5-10 years, there might be a new approach to managing insect pests, especially on termite also. Because one of the issue is that because of the insects pesticide resistance, this is one of the issue. Many of the pests because of insect resistance, and other than that also not because of the insecticide resistance, but also because of the behavioral changes. For example, like cockroaches, the food shyness, the shyness towards the gel bait, and this will cause a lot of problems. So that means that
Oh enggak,
ada orang cakap.
Aspami dua bulan yang ketemu.
So this means that after 5-10 years, that means that we have to overlook on our current strategies, especially in managing termite as a pest. But talking about this, looking at the new approach after 5-10 years, but does this, the question is that, does this new technology, does this new insecticide formulation, after we evaluate, but an assessment, is it sustainability or cost effective? That's an issue because after 5-10 years, the development of insect resistance, behavioral changes, we develop new technology, new insecticide formulation, new termiticide formulation. But again, the question is that the sustainability and cost effective. Some of this is sustainability, it's green enough, but it's not cost effective. For example, using more on a plant extract based termiticide. But again, how many plants that we need to use to develop this sustainable product? But in the same time also, it lead to expensive to develop this. So it means that yes, it's green, it's sustainability, but again, for cost effective, it doesn't work that way. And this involve on the applied research. So once we understand the fundamental concept, it lead to the sustainability, as I mentioned earlier, cost effective. And again, the last part is applicability. Does it can be applied in the field? Because some of the lab data, when we talk about termite management, termite control, usually start with the lab understanding first, pre-experimental scale, experimental design lab. But when we try to do it in the field, does it applicable or not? So this is the question. Look sustain, is cost effective, doesn't cost much, but does it applicable? Especially we're talking about Southeast Asia, climate that are very hot, humid, we have many rain, sometimes there are no rain, so that's an issue. So that means that how we want to convert from lab finding to the field of application. So when you look at this perspective in urban pest management, and we're talking more here about termites, basically if you look here, now with natural products going there, especially in managing termites, fumigants, a new formulation. And some now we are looking also for species-specific insecticide, not just like broad spectrum that can cover all all of the insect pests like flying insects that can cover all. And importantly also that the current and the future also the precision placement of the risk system, because sometimes when we apply a new formulation, new technology, does it precise the placement where we target a specific insects? Does it really precise and does it really deliver to the target pest? Or it will, or if not doesn't target the specific pest, it might target different pests. So we want to focus that it precise. And then also importantly is that more precise and cheaper termite detection system. So now we talk about AI. Later also we'll talk about the things that we've done about using the AI technologies in termite bait. But is it cheap? So far, the cost is quite expensive when you implemented that. But yes, it's expensive, but we can cut costs on the labor. Less labor going to the field to inspect the termite baiting system. But again, more precise, is it cheaper detection system? And importantly, is also environmental friendly. That means that involve multiple RPM approach. And right now, there's a lot of using molecular techniques, implementing of the lab findings together with molecular application, especially like population genetics, help us to understand on termite adaptation in the environment, how it move within the environment, and how, for example, if you control termite infestation today, what will happen the next 10 years if there are new reinfestation? Is it the same colony or is it from different colony? But again, as I mentioned earlier, this approach required, it required, let me get my laser pointer. So basically it's required revision from time to time. So it's importantly, that means that we introduce today doesn't mean it will last for next 10 years. So that means that it need to be revision. So that means this is very important. Field lab to field trial, and then to the industry, also the industry sector need to understand that no technology will last forever, or no new application, new termiticide or new insecticide will last forever. But again, the question is that it's always need to be based on local issue, local pests, because local issue, Malaysia, if I compare scenario, for example, in the industry of termite, in Malaysia, it's very blooming. Termite is everywhere. People really concerned about termite. I'm not sure in Indonesia if people really concerned about termite. Some people really doesn't care about termite if they have termite in the home. So that may not also depend on the specific species. If you compare to United States, they have, for example, like Eastern Septentrion termite. Those are in US, those are native Septentrion termite that are always economic pests. But in Malaysia, we don't have this species. That means that can we use that particular issue back to Southeast Asia, because over there, different environment, different climate, different species. So that means that we're not just focusing on the overseas data or perspective, but we are looking at the small scope, local, but now we're talking about the Southeast Asia region. So this is where the important of the gap. I mean, we're always talking about the gap between the research finding and industry, because as I mentioned earlier, the fundamental research is very important. We still need the fundamental research because we need to understand the adaptation, behavior, ecological aspect of the insects. But importantly also, we need to know to use our knowledge management, the expert in that particular field, because it's very important. The expert that work on that particular insects, maybe more than 10 years, 20 years of experience, and also have a degree or PhD in that particular aspect of insect pests, and also integrated with the field application. That means that once we have the knowledge management together with the findings from a lab, combine it to have the field research application. And importantly is that as a researcher like myself and also academician, publish is very important. Some aspect of this, how to say that? Some people say that publish is not important, but in certain way, certain data, it need to be published, even though sometimes it's a private data. You have to be careful if you sign NDA with specific industry, those cannot be released. But again, publish is very important also because to validate the data. That means that this data have been approved and this data have been done correctly based on the correct experimental design, correct replicate number, and so on. So it's very important. But again, even though it's published and validated, not everybody have the access of the information. Sometimes this information only in the library, only in the journal. Like basically like technicians, pest control technician, I don't think they read journals. They might read, but might be quite hard to understand, but now it's easy to access. I think now ChatGPT can easily access all this information, but it's very important. But important is that from this finding, it lead to the latest technology innovation application, basically to unsolve the current problem. So that means that this fundamental research earlier that I talked earlier is to solve the current issue, integrated with the knowledge that we already have from that particular expert, field research application, and lead to the new technology application to solve the current scenario in that timely manner in that particular situation. So basically how we engage, so that means that it's very important. Find the gap and niche. This is very important. So what's our real question issues? We're talking about the current scenario in the local environment. Like we talked about in Malaysia, in Penang. I'm from Penang. Now today, right now, I'm in Kelantan. So what's the current scenario issue related to the pests? What are the issues? So this is sometimes the gap that might be, it's not, the issue is there, but maybe nobody take care of it, or the current situation or the current solvement is not settling the issues. So that means what are the missing piece? So that means it's based on the local status quo. But sometimes when we look internationally, the status internationally doesn't reflect on where the local that we are in and so on. So the question is that what are the solution? That's the solution that we're going to solve regarding the termite issues. Is it short term? Is it long term? And then we explore it. As I mentioned earlier, the cost is very important. The applicability is very important. And then conduct the research, either lab testing, lead to small field trial, and then wider field application and publish. So this is very important. It's for data validations. As a scientist, as a researcher, we like to be published because it's validate our finding and also the applicability. And importantly is that it's not in a silo. We present it to the conference, especially to the target audience right now, like in this summer course about termite. So basically the audience are from pest control operator. So they will know the current scenario, current technology in termite management, and then explore it, and then also present it to the industry player that have, how to say it, the industry player that have the funding. This is very important. Without funding, it's very hard to do the research. And also the local authorities. So local authorities is important because the law and the application, whatever the rules and regulation is led by the local authorities. So this is very important in getting the between the industry and also the finding from the researcher. So how we engage industry? For example, the fundamental, this is just to share how we, the early stage in my career, we always ask this question because there's always an issue about termiticide, how long it can last in the soil. After we apply today, how long it can last. How we give the warranty. For example, this new product is been launched. They say 5 years, 10 years warranty. So where are this data come from? Is it from overseas or is it from local data? Because we cannot compare local and international data because international there are many other factors. Later we'll talk about this. So the question is that how long it lasts after soil treatment? And this we're talking about C. C is a Southeast Asian environment and how the supplier provide the warranty. So the warranty said 5 years. The PCO who use the product in the field will give another guarantee to the household users on it. So this is very important. For example, does this product, if you apply, does it leach? What happened to the environment where there's a lot of rain? Malaysia, we have a lot of rain. Like here in Kelantan, I think every early morning, 3 o'clock is raining until 4 around that time. And also the question also that can we use the remix termiticide? Does the color, for example, white color, black color container, does it influence the termiticide or the insecticide? So this is all the factors that involve in on how to interpret this information and to integrate it with the application in the findings. So this is some, for example, advertisement, kill and eliminate termite in the fastest way. Protect your home, termite now come with all the warranty. Some might give warranty for 20 years or lifelong warranty. I don't think that's a lifelong, but usually there are warranty, whatever 3 years, 4 years. But how much warranty and how much guarantee that we can put that? So the next question is that can last this long? This warranty can it last this long? Can the warranty last up to 10 years? So the question is that how certain are you? So this is where the information from lab integrated with the research field application and it integrated into the product launching or the application in the field situation. So this is very important. But always a question there. For environmentalists, like for termiticide, for me, when I use termiticide, we want the termiticide to be last long in the field, last long in the soil. It's very important because we apply, yes, it can last for up to 5 to 10 years. But for environmentalists, the longer the residue in the soil is the bad for environment. So how we want to collude this that both parties win. Environmentalists win, for entomologists, for PCO win in this situation because we want this product to be prolonged in the environment, especially for termiticide in the soil so that it lasts long and protect the home from termites. So again, that's good and bad. So this is the question we come. How you want to put this and collude it together so that we give a good warranty and guarantee to the users. The end users is the household owners users. So this, for example, another question, how long this pesticide lasts in environment? For example, if we mix our chemical in this particular container, termiticide, can we use this termiticide after we mix? How long it can last? So this is all the basic question. So if we place this termiticide on the open truck with the sunlight, does it affect on the effectiveness of this chemical, or is it to be put in the closed van, not on the open truck? How about this particular sprayer tank? Does it have any effect? So this is all this question on the fundamental or the application question that need to be looked. So the question is that how long this termiticide can last in the environment. Some other question also, this is the question I related just now. Also, if you put in the van, in the open truck, does it have effect? Does the color of the bottle have effect? So how and we place our prepared termiticide? So this is some of the question usually when we talk about termiticide or termiticide or termite product that we have in the market. So how we storage and how long it can last, because nothing can last forever. But we want it to be last so that we can give a good warranty and also guarantee to the end users and so on. So basically, why the lab data is very important when we interpret it to the field application and later for the real situation in pest control for termite management. So basically, what is required by urban pest management industry for termite management? Firstly, is for product registration. I'm not sure in Indonesia, but in Malaysia now, local data, actually, if you want to register this product in Malaysia, we need to have a local data. And then from there, it can be registered with the Malaysian Pesticide Board. Local data is very important because there's always an issue raised before. What happened is that they use overseas data to register, but this product come out not very effective. In US or in Europe, it look good, promising. But when it used in Malaysia, it doesn't work well. We doesn't say that the product is not good. It's good. It's only that because of a lot of other factors, environmental issue, and then also the soil binding capability of the termiticide to bind with the soil, and also the concentration. Later we talk a little bit about our finding about the concentration. Some concentration in overseas is okay because they have different environment condition, different soil type, different termite species. But in Malaysia, we have a lot of rain, different type of soil, and also different economic termite pests, different species. So basically, this data need for new product, actually for registration and also for marketing. So this is very, very important part. And then also half-life energy rate. This is need a local data. For example, we talk about termiticide, as I mentioned earlier. Once we do a soil treatment with termiticide, how long it can last in the environment. So this is lead to the warranty. When we launch the product, whatever industry launched the new product, it was stated this product lasts for 5 years. How do you know? Because we have validated in the lab and the field data, then it can be registered, then we can easily say. So that means that it lead back to the marketing and also for the relation purpose. And also, we need the bioassay data. So that means that the lab data, the bioassay data is very important to see the toxicity of the product and also the efficacy. And also to look at the performance, the product. For example, in different in different surfaces. This for not talking about termite lah. Different insects, for example, different surfaces. Does it bind properly into that particular surfaces? If there's a surface very, very hollow, what will happen and so on. So this is for sales promotion and also for income generation, especially for the industry that manufacture a new termiticide product in the market. So again, Dr. Himi have talked about the termiticide 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just in general, so basically termiticide, there are 2 types. Usually I just put that either it's repellent or non-repellent. Some people say that repellent is not good, non-repellent is good. Yes, that's good and bad. Basically, repellent, termite can detect and they move away from treated soil. It depends on the objective what you want to do. But as we are understanding the basic behavior of termite, grooming and prophylaxis, we want the termite to get contacted with the soil that have been treated. So non-repellent termiticide now are the direction for the new termiticide that have been launched in the market, because the termite will not detect and also detect the chemical in the soil, and also they can enter and contact it, and they can bring back the residue on their abdomen by grooming themselves. And if you look here now, the non-repellent termiticide is the lead or the advisement. So that means that it one of the category of this non-repellent, because it long lasting even under wet condition, a lot of rain, and also most of it have a new compound, new formulation, new AI now, even last new AI that effectively eliminate, and also it can be integrated together. There are some PCO that have been have this particular termite management, where they integrated together the baiting and also the termiticide together. So that means that with this non-repellent, that means we can minimize the exposure, and it's eco-friendly. And also now I have been regularly approved for the pesticide registration, and it can be integrated with the integrated pest management, especially for the licensed PCO. And also it can be used to focus on local condition, because some of these non-repellent termiticide have much better binding capacity, but there are also repellent termiticide that have better binding capability, especially at the sandy beach area, where this particular repellent product bind much better, because sand at the beach area, when you do soil treatment, it will leach away faster. So basically, there are some repellent termiticide much better to be used when that particular building structure is at the beach area where there's a lot of sand. So it depends on the condition, also the factors that you're looking at in this. So again, the question is that, can previously registered termiticide concentration from other country or from other continent? We talk about different other continent. We're talking about Southeast Asia and also America continent or Europe continent. Is it suitable? Can that data, that concentration that been used for that particular AI of termiticide, active ingredient, termiticide, can be used for the local? The question is that yes and no. But from my experience that we do, most of this concentration that been developed, that been labeled in the overseas, actually it doesn't really work well in Malaysia label, because of different species of certain termite, also different soil condition. So one of the factor is that because of the environment, hot and humid, more rainfall. So Southeast Asia, hot and humid, different climate and temperature. In Nebraska, I just remember that with my supervisor, with my advisor, Professor Shripat Kamble, we have only termite research during summertime, because we will not see any termite problem until during summertime. During other seasons, it's only mostly like cockroaches, ants, and also maybe some nuisance pests that come into your home because of the cold temperature outside. They suddenly enter your home. And then different type of soil. So basically, when I look at that, this particular product develop good. I mean, it's good market in that particular continent, but not in South Asia, because of different type of soil. And importantly, also different type of building structure. And this different type of building structure lead to a different treatment application. For example, here, if I show you on this right picture. So basically, overseas country that have 4-season temperature, they always do trenching for soil treatment, because of the house, they have basement. If you drill like the bottom here, then the termiticide will go into the basement. So that's why in overseas, especially the 4-season country that have winter, usually they do trenching, because of the house, they have basement. So basically, and also the house, they have layer of wood. Because of during cold, they don't have bricks. I live in an apartment, and also a landed house when I was in US, a rental. Basically, only outside is bricks, but inside the wall is made of plywood, and also insulated cardboard, because to hold the temperature, the heat from the heater inside doesn't release out, and so on. So it's different. So that means that the application might be slightly different compared to Southeast Asia. And also one important thing is to talk here is that because of different invasive termite species. So this is very important. Like in US, Eastern Subtropical termite, Reticulus flavipes is the economic important termite pest, east insect termite in northern part, northern central part of US. But here in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia, the Asian cyclone termite, which are the Coptomus gastroid, those are the most, dangerous economic important termite pest. So that means that different species. So that means that it doesn't mean that that particular termiticide concentration in overseas will work well in Southeast Asia environment. So this lead to the evolution of the lab applicability, or to retest back in the lab condition. So what will happen if you follow above factors? For example, you still follow whatever that been labeled overseas and you use in Southeast Asia environment. I'm talking about Malaysia. So basically, the non-repellent might become repellent. This happen because some of these dosage in overseas, they are higher. The concentration, when I look at it, is higher compared to the Malaysian label concentration. So that means when it's higher, when we do a lab and field application, it repel. So when it repel, it's not good, because for termite, we want it to be contacted with the insecticide, with termiticide, that it can transfer back during by grooming and prophylaxis. This is because of mostly due to the high dosage of inflation, even though it was the original concentration. So that means that this non-repellent termiticide is a major advance in termite management, but with the improper dosage, it can transform into repellent. So that means that this need to re-evaluate again. So that means that we want to make sure that the correct application to ensure long colony suppression and sustainable termite control. So again, from non-repellent product, it can become repellent because of the high dosage that been used overseas, because over there different factors, as I mentioned earlier, compared to the Southeast Asia environment condition. Okay, so we talk about development the dosage in the lab application. So in our laboratory in USM, we always play along, trial different dosage to see. So that means that we want to integrate lab data to field application, especially for the product registration for the pesticide board, because we want to make sure. And importantly also that when we talk about concentration, we want to talk about cost effective. If the concentration, for example, 10 liter per 30 mil per liter, that's the normal standard. Let's say that's 100 mil per 1 liter. It might not be cost effective because the PCO need to use a lot of chemical. They have to purchase a lot of termiticide. So again, yes, we play along with the correct dosage and concentration, but again, for marketing purpose, is it a correct concentration? In the same time that we kill the termite, it doesn't repel, it's sustainable, it can last long for 5 to 10 years, for example, but in the same time also it cost effective. That means that the PCO can purchase it to do a treatment for termite management for the house users and owners. So that means that we try to balance the effectiveness and also the safety, and also we want to make sure that we minimize the application, but also try to minimize the residual effect and so on. So most importantly that when we talk about is that we want to make sure that there's a termite activity. That means involve tunneling and feeding consumption. That means the and also we want to look also the mean percentage frequency and mortalities. That means that when we do this lab testing, we want to make sure that they don't repel, because we claim this product non-repellent, so it doesn't repel. So we want to see at the concentration where it doesn't repel, but it does cause mortality. Because if it doesn't repel that way, in that sense, that means that it doesn't lead to the mortality. But we want to have both. And also the little concentration and also the more ideal concentration. So the key point is that we want to make sure that it's non-repellent, slow acting. That means that the termite will not die instantly within 2-3 days. It might take 1 week for the whole colony to collapse. That means that termite have time to transfer the AI and lead to the colony elimination. But we don't want to be too slow. There are some issues also when the doses are too low. It's too slow. That means after 1 month, it show there's a start to work, but at the end of the day, the whole building had been eaten by termite. We don't want that also. So this is very important, how we look at this. So this is some example just to show some lab application. So basically, we collect the termite from the field, we separate it. This is Coptomus gastroid. And also we do a serial dilution. So this is one of the termiticide that we use. I cannot reveal it, even though it's been launched. So basically we have serial dilution rate, 10 ml per 10 liter, 20 ml up to 115 10 liter. And also we use the original concentration, for example, 60 ml per 10 liter. This is the original concentration that was labeled in the product. And we use this 60 ml per 10 liter, but the termite repel, especially in the field application, we treated using soil quality treatment, but the termite repel to another building next door, especially for the terrace house. And also when we treat at the bottom, the termite go up and eat the upper cabinet and so on. We don't want that to happen. Even though we want it to have transfer effect, but we doesn't want to repel. So this is some example. And we do choice bioassay. This is lab setting to show that when we do this choice bioassay, the termite have the choice either to go to the untreated to treated. But in the same time, also we're taking care of the mortality rate and also the repellency. How much repel happen for this product, and does it go to the treated area, because we need the termite to go to the area because it's not repel, so that it contacted with the treated soil and so on. So basically, yeah, this is when we have done that. So this is the recommendation. So this is the remarks here, example of doses recommendation based on the lab result. So basically, we found that this is important thing. That means that we want to have tunneling activity. That's important, one key point. We want to have the feeding activity, because when they need to feed. So we have the filter paper to show that it go and look for food, penetrate and tunneling to that treated soil. But also we look at the repellency. Is there any repellency? So we see that is there any termite on the other side? And also does it lead to the mortality? So from this we put into a numbering. So that means one is good concentration where there are tunneling activity happen, feeding activity, and also repellency doesn't happen and on. So that means that we put this range based on the data output that we collect from data. So from there, we mentioned that the concentration that's suitable for restoration and to be used in Malaysian environment is 30 ml per 10 liter. There is a second option, so 40 ml, ask them to put, but at the end of the day, because when we have too many concentration in the label, especially for termite control, it's quite confusing, low or high. So we use one. So basically 30 ml per 10 liter is the suitable launch. And from there, then we do the field application to re-evaluate again. So that means that, yes, the lab data is fine. It looked promising based on those 4 factors: tunneling, activity, as I mentioned earlier, feeding activity occur, doesn't have any repellency effect, and importantly, it lead to mortality. So this is very important. Kalau tak mati, susah lah. And because at the end of the day, we want the termite to die. Even though it doesn't take very fast, but we want to die at the end of the day. So this, we do the validation. So we apply. So basically in Malaysia, when we talk about termiticide, we use soil corrective treatment. So I'm not sure in Indonesia if they do this soil corrective treatment, but in Malaysia, soil corrective treatment is the most the most important soil treatment. So we use, that means that because we do in and out, that means by drilling, and we injected the termiticide, and then we recorded the data. So basically in this house, we look either visually, and also we have a artificial station, monitoring station to observe on the termite feeding activity based on the active termite station in the building also. So once we validate and we apply in the field, then from there, then we can register the product. So the issue is, the concern is that from there, once we know the lab data is good, we validated it, and then the product been registered, we validate again in the field, and then that's an issue also. I think for those who come to FOCMA have heard about this. So basically, some of the issue of termite management is how to manage wide area termite management. So right now, we have termiticide, new termiticide developed that are non-repellent, new formulation. But the one of the issue is that to cover wide area management, because one termite colony can cover the whole football stadium. It happened to me when I did my research during my master time. I can find the whole not half the USM, half all of the masjid USM, whoever already went to USM, masjid USM, the whole USM until to Tasik Harapan is one colony actually. So, and also we can find that it can be up to one football. One colony can very big. So that means that it can also, one termite colony can cover 10 double story terrace. It happened to me when we did the research on the foraging study. One lane of road with 10 single story terrace house, they are all one colony. So the question is that from that non-repellent termite site, how much site we required? Then again, if for cost and budget and how much it can cover those areas. So we can see that the foraging territory can be very big in this area. So everything we talk is about money. PCO, yes, income is very important, money. But again, for end user, like the household user, they look at the cost. Can it affordable or not? Because sometimes when they're too high, people or the house owner, they're reluctant to have the termite treatment in their building structure and so on. So again, this involved on the termite colony. Old school, people put stakes and then they dye the termite and release it to see at which particular station found the blue termite. Now, just to highlight it here, now most of the research now can be easily done because we have the molecular genotyping. That means that we can take termite from this building, from next door building, and from other places, and we can use these genetic tools to indicate if they are from the same colony. So now it's easier, and now it's getting cheaper, and I think now it's cheaper compared to the labor because here need more labor, here less labor. So that means equivalent, the costs are almost the same using the old school method and also the new molecular genotyping area. So from there, we can do innovation of soil treatment. So this, for example, in the field application, how we can integrate it from the lab and field application. So I mean, this lead to the innovation of soil corrective treatment. How we can minimize the treatment, but at the same time also, it reflected on the old practices, conventional way, where there are transfer effect occur, but we minimize the treatment. But important is that we need to determine how many termite colony. Usually one house, one termite colony. Jarang sekali lah jumpa 2 koloni dalam satu rumah. Basically, one termite colony in one house. So basically is that we try to minimize because we understand that from the lab data and also the field application, non-repellent termiticide, they can transfer. The termite doesn't die instantly. Once they contacted, they can transfer to the whole colony and go to and transfer to the whole other worker and later to the queen. So that means that we can use this innovative method. This is some example here because we understand that this non-repellent, they can transfer. So basically that we need to do the, we need to know the size of the foraging territory. For example here, this is the standard practice in Malaysia. Usually when the house have termite, we do corrective treatment in and out, zigzag. Outside the perimeter and also inside zigzag. Just to show you that once these three bungalow house, these 3 single bungalow house are same termite colony. So we have this house full treatment and that's transfer effect. So the other house also have get control. That means that this house pay for the full treatment, this house get free treatment, and this house also get free treatment. So sangat untung. But this also same also, we do minimal treatment. That means that we just minimal conventional practice that we need to do all the treatment. And we can see that minimal treatment, here limited interaction treatment give a same effect when we use a conventional treatment. Because we understand on the mode of action of non-repellent termiticide product in the market. Termite baiting also. So some of data also incorporated from the lab testing to see new AI, new AGR, for example, hexafluoron, novifuron, chlorphozuron, and so on. But now, basically, it was introduced in Asia in year 2000, and now it's getting higher implementation starting 2006. And now also there's a lot of approach using eco-friendly baiting system, for example, use plant extraction. But again, termite baiting is more convenient way, less damage to building structure. Because we use the behavior of the termite grooming and prophylaxis. And now, as mentioned by Dr. Himi earlier also, now there's a smart technology. That means that we can save time. We can save time without going out and look for the station to see if there's termite infestation or not. But how we can minimize, regardless of using artificial intelligence or the Internet of Things, but basically when we do normal baiting, we still apply the monitoring station at the perimeter of the building. But how we can innovate by having it less baiting station outside. So basically same thing as earlier using the non-repellent termiticide to innovate limited perimeter treatment because we understand the foraging territory. So that means that we can just put one bait instead of all the bait in the house, in the perimeter of the house, because it will deliver. So this some example. We put the service stakes, and then we replace with the monitoring station, and then we record the feeding activity, and then we put the termite bait. So basically, the termite bait we don't put all. Basically, for regular application, usually once you have this in-ground monitoring station, all this in-ground monitoring station you're going to place with bait, with the active ingredient bait. When you put the monitoring station, it's just a pair of wood, or it's a wood inside. But after there's termite infestation, you're going to put all the station with bait. But now you can put only one if all this particular house, this particular area is only infested by one termite colony and so on. So that means that single termite baiting station is enough to control the whole termite infestation in that particular housing area. So you can selective. So this selective based on the most active termite bait. That means that there are some termite, there in the station, but not really active. But there are some that are very active. So that means that we can minimize it and so on. This is some example. Just to show you that this study site, for example, this high school, Bukit Jambul, these 2 blocks, they are termite infestation. And we have 1, 2, 3 active station, but we only put 1 station with active bait, and it can transfer. So that means that colony machine within 4 to 8 weeks with just 1 termite bait. So how much you save? How much will it save? Especially for this termite bait, when I asked how much does it cost, for example, this 1 box of bait powder, about 4,000 ringgit Malaysia, right? Now you only use about 150 gram. How much you can save? Yes, for house user, it's very convenient, but maybe for PCO, it's not that very convenient because you use less, so less money to be for the house owner to pay and so on. But it worked. So that means that within 4 to 8 weeks with 1 termite bait, instead of putting all the active bait into the active station, it worked. Because importantly is that that particular area need to be covered by 1 termite colony. So that's why we still need to do the genotyping, or to use the mark release recapture to determine if that particular area is by the same termite colony. So this is some example lah. So how this can be innovative. So this been published in the journal in Insects, and also have been written by Professor Lee Chow Yang in the Termite Professional in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So that means it's been highlighted. So only add bait to 1 in-ground station is enough. So from our study, it's enough. Importantly, that particular infestation covered by 1 termite colony. But how this can be innovated? Because for house owner who have limited budget. And also for government building like Malaysia, for example, like a hospital building, clinics, because they have to share the funding to cover all other issue with insects. So that means that if they don't have enough funding, they can use this limited approach, but it have a same effect with covering the whole termite infestation for what area, for example, like hospital, school, with limited budget and funding. So what it show you that baits, yes, it's already environmental friendly, but with this innovative approach, or the innovative approach, the baiting is already innovative, but the innovative approach, that means that more people can afford termite baiting. It's already clean, so that means that it provide more greener and sustainable management. So that means that with single termite baiting, it's enough to control the whole of termite infestation in the area. So this is another one also that we did for the past 10 years. Centricon always active. So basically, we did a lot of laboratory data. So basically, I just want to show you, this is the aging bait. This is the new bait. If you look D, this is wood. This is a pine wood, regular wood that can be eaten by Coptermus castroi. So this is new bait of Centricon. This is the 9 years old bait. So we can see that it's already degraded. But again, this has been elaborated by Professor Nanyosu also, always active 24/7. That means that even the aging bait, you have the bait, for example, here this Centricon bait, it's already 9 years old. It still can be used in the field, even though if you apply in the field, the termite doesn't feed, it's already degraded and moldy like here. The termite still can eat and also can lead to colony elimination. So this comes from the lab data. So basically for Southeast Asia region, we done this test to show that it still works similar to US environment. So that means that 9 years old bed that already been degraded still actively bed. So we can see this is the middle part, top part, and the bottom part. The termite still die after uh, 11 days, after 1 week. After 1 week and above, 1 week to, and after 2 weeks already colony emit. So that means that it's still effective. So that means that AI still intact in the colony. So that means that you can just use one bed and the old degraded bed also still can be used. So this is some of innovative. So where the lab testing, so we did this in field, we test in lab, and then in the same time also we try this particular old bed, this degraded bed in the field. But sometimes when we did this in the field, we have to tell the house owner, this is new bed, or we have to have somebody talk with the house owner so we can install. If not, you will see that this bed is very old. This one I show you is new, but the one that degraded bed from the soil, it look like this. So we don't want the house owner to see it, but we put it there just to show when we do the field trial. We have some kind like to make sure the efficacy. But yes, it worked. So when we did the new bed, also the great bed in the field application house, it still work. So that means that it's always active 24/7. So this is for Malaysian environment. Because Malaysian environment, we have a lot of rain and moisture and also a lot of sun that can cause a lot of degraded on the bed. So now, Internet of Things, as mentioned by Dr. Himi also, now with this particular all new innovation product with new innovation application that have been tested in lab and also been applied in the field. Now with IoT or Internet of Things with AI, now you can save more time. After you putting the in-ground station, you don't need to go to the field. For example, here, even though you do in the field, you still have to validate in the field. So this is some example of this product. I think I mentioned already presented earlier in FOCMA, just to show you that before we can do in the field, we still have to validate in the lab. Because this is, for example, this is a lab, this is the termite tank, Coptum gastroid. We have the colony of termite and we test in here to see how much termite feed on that particular bed, that particular wood piece. If you look here, there's a wood inside here. How much it eat, it will trigger the signal. Because they want to validate this to Coptumus gastroid, because this is the important of termite economic importance in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and even in Indonesia. So we validate in lab. So once the termite eat about 0.1% already trigger the signal, and it's validated in lab, it happens. We do replicates, 3 replicates, and so on and more. Then we calibrate to the system. They have this system. Then we try in the field. So basically, once it been eaten, it will send a signal, and it will show green on this side. Green. Same also when we validate in the lab, we test it in the field. Also, it will give a signal. So that means that it detect or represent of the termite. And in this case, you save labor. People doesn't need to go to the field and to open one by one of the in-ground station. But again, this all comes from the lab validation, field trial, and then product registration, and so on. So this is some example, just to highlight it here. Okay, what are other innovation? So now the question is that I always ask is now, during my earlier presentation, is that how long it can last in hot, humid, raining season. For example, degradation of non-repellent termiticide with extreme temperature that lead to leaching of soil termiticide, especially in here. So basically, we done this testing in lab. So that means we have this apparatus here in the left. This is to simulate the rainfall, and inside here we have a layer of soil and treated with 3 types of insecticide: fipronil, imidacloprid, and bifenthrin, to see how long it leach and how long that particular insecticide, termiticide, lasts in the soil. Why this is important? This has been highlighted by Professor Lee Chow Yang also in the termite professional. So our finding have been reported here in the termite professional. It shows that it's very important because especially for the area that always have banjir, always have flooding in the area. But what we found is that the repellent termiticide, which are the bifenthrin, that been categorized as repellent, it work well in this particular wet soil because of the binding capacity. It more intact. It doesn't leach to the water. So that means that for PCO, they need to understand that repellent termiticide is still okay to be used by looking at if the building are being built on the coastal area where the soil type is sandy beach. And where this information come? Yes, again, the information come from the lab data and also been tested in the field. So this is very important and so on. So this is important lah, just to show you bifenthrin, fipronil, imidacloprid. So showing that the bifenthrin in the upper layer of the soil are still there, the residue is still there compared to other insecticide. So basically, if you're facing with this particular area that always have a lot of rain, always flooding, then the choice of repellent pesticide, then again, is the first choice. Okay. That means, okay. Again, also, as I mentioned earlier, how long the pesticide can be last in the bottle. For example, when we dilute the pesticide, usually put in the big 4 liter, not 4 liter, 4 gallon tank, plastic tank. We diluted maybe extra. So the leftover, what we want to do? Usually people put in the bottle. So can this bottle that we put this leftover pesticide that have been mixed in the bottle, either black color, white color, does it have any effect or not? So we have done this testing. Basically, color doesn't have any issue. So if you put in the white color bottle, black color bottle, it doesn't influence the degradation of the active ingredient of the pesticide in the bottle. Either you store in the car, open, it doesn't have effect. Yes, open have it degraded faster, but there's no significant difference. But to answer this, whatever the pesticide, regardless of active ingredient, of the product, either fipronil, imidacloprid, and many others, basically after 2 weeks, the residual of the pesticide that have been mixed are no longer there. We have done that. After 2 weeks, we tested, they are no longer there. After we expose in either store in the car, inside the van or open truck, that means after 2 weeks, regardless whatever AI of the pesticide, the residual are no longer there, almost zero. So that means that after you mix the bottle, yes, within 2 weeks you can use, but there is some insecticide where better to use cannot be less than 1 week, but just to put in general, after 2 weeks, all type of pesticide no longer can be used to be reused again. So do not recycle your pesticide after 2 weeks. So basically, use right away within that 2 weeks. If you even you store nicely, either inside the car, closed cover, or even an open truck, but after 2 weeks, it's no longer active. So that means that how you store and so on. So to conclude this, my last slide is that importantly is that how we transfer this particular information. So basically, in USM, we have this program, knowledge transfer program. So that means that we integrated the finding from lab, research finding, and even in the field application, and we simulate it to the pest control operator, to local council, to pest management association, and so on, and also for the government sector like the Ministry of Health. So that means we transfer the information on how to use a proper management from the finding from the data, regardless whatever the product is, and how we integrated this particular information from the lab finding, from research application to the industry application. So that means that we need to translate it. Whatever the lab finding, even though we need to publish, yes, importantly, but whatever that we publish sometimes doesn't reach to the target audience or even to the industry. So we need to translate to have a knowledge transfer. So that means that transfer between the researcher, academia, and industry, and also importantly to the industry, so that we can integrate it and solve issue regarding on the termite management. So hopefully my presentation will lead little bit information on how this lab data testing and how field application will lead to the registration and lead to the integration. Importantly is that we don't want it to be how to say, if in Penang people say shock sendiri, we don't want to do a research or any research that we feel good, but at the end of the day, it doesn't been used by the pest control operator. So that means that we want to make sure that it be integrated, the science in lab, field application, and also be integrated to be applied by the pest control operator. I think that's all, Dr. Himi. I pass back to the program moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Hafiz, for the presentation. I think we've come into the discussion sessions. We have very limited time, but because we started a little bit late, so we probably make some prolonged period for the discussions. So I open, saya buka pertanyaan pertama, termin pertama, monggo. I will start from the offline session. So Bapak Ibu yang ada offline, mungkin ada pertanyaan? Adakah pertanyaan mungkin? Oh iya, silakan Mas Farid.
Yang online boleh ikutan. Yang online boleh ikutan.
Boleh Pak, nanti setelah offline Pak, offline dulu, nanti habis itu online. Siap?
Terima kasih.
Udah masuk. Udah masuk. Oke. What is the basis of weighing in termite infestation index? Because since you put climate with the highest weighing, then I assume in the result, Jakarta is the highest, resulted in highest value could be the bad value. This is my question. And the second question is for Professor Abdul Hafiz. I have a question related with the old method and new method. In the new method, you try to find the correlation between the territory area of termite and then the significant ecological key factor. Did you find any finding related to what is the most significant key ecological? And then the second one is, do you also plan, or maybe you did, the molecular analysis? What do you expect from the molecular analysis? Maybe I missed the result from the second question. Thank you.
Okay, I think Dr. Himi will answer first, but please make the answer concise because we have a problem.
Also Jennifer question. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Farid, for the question. So yeah, it's very critical actually how to determine the weight of factors when we calculate the termite infestation risk. Actually, to be honest, we can have a method for calculating the weight, but this time expert opinion. So we wait like climate, because climate is really important for termite distribution. So for those who are working with termite, climate is one of the important factors that affecting activities of termite, including swarming and also their behavioral activities. So we decide, I decide, like we put like 25% on the weight of the climate factors. So that's of course we can discuss of the weight decision, and the percentage of the weight can significantly change the risk index calculation. So thank you for that.
Okay, it's answered. So
Okay, thank you for the question again. I think I try to understand the question again. So basically, with the molecular approach, I answer the second part, because usually when we talk about the powering territory, before this we use mark release capture. It's a time consuming and also labor consuming, because it take quite a lot of time to that. But now when we use molecular genotyping, we just take the termite from different location to see if it's from the same colony or not. So we can basically it's always related with the ecological. And also what we did is because we also publish the data. For example, how when we put the baiting, for example, today we have termite, we put termite baiting. After several months, there's no longer termite in that particular area, but we collected termite in the nearby area. We can see that some of the termite is still have a it's a secondary termite group. That means that they have an extended colony similar to the original colony that have been eliminated. So that means that with this molecular data, actually, if we do some treatment strategy today, we already control this termite, and we have the termite sample before we treated in that area. So maybe after 5 to 10 years, if there's a termite infestation come, we still can determine, does this termite that come after 5, 10 years, is it from the same original colony or is it from the extended colony? Because this termite, sometimes they have an extended colony nearby in the area. It doesn't come from the same colony, but it's extended. That means that in the reported of termite, the worker, they can be extend out from the colony and become a new queen in the extended colony. So we're not talking about the genetics or the breeding pattern of the certain termite. And we can tell that if that treatment work. So from our finding, we looked at once we collected the termite infestation again after 5 to 10 years in that particular area, it showed that it's not the original of the termite. It's not a termite origin that was killed. It was a new termite that already fly and establish a new termite colony in the area. So we can tell you that the earlier termite management strategies already work, but after 5 years, when there's a new termite infestation, this is not the original colony. This is the new colony. That means that the elites fly off and they establish a new termite colony in the area after we have eliminated the original colony. Hopefully answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's answer the questions really well. The next questions, pertanyaan berikutnya saya buka dari online. Tadi ada yang ingin bertanya, Bapak siapa ya tadi?
Teguh Mukhtar.
Benar, Pak. Silahkan bertanya, Pak.
Teguh Mukhtar, Bapak. Okay, especially thank you very much, Professor Tan Sri Dr. Abdullah Hafiz Abdul Majid from USM. I know we would like to appreciate if all presentation materials could be shared with the participant after this Zoom meeting ends. Or kindly share all presentation materials with us after this Zoom meeting concludes, or they may, or might be conveyed through the chairman of ASPAMI, Mr. Rajul Kirman.
I'm sorry, you have questions, Pak Mukhtar?
I have no question, Pak.
Oh, you just want to confirm?
Yes, I have to confirm.
Okay.
And
yeah, okay, the committee will confirm later. The committee will confirm later. If you have questions, so please ask questions. But if you just want to confirm, the committee will confirm later. I think we have very limited time, and we want everybody who will deliver questions related to the materials. I think I will put first for this period. I think so. Thank you, Pak Teguh Mukhtar. The committee will confirm later. So please, anyone? Okay. Okay, the chat. I think I have, yeah, the chat. Prof. Hafiz. I think this question has come from Nurfianto Giar Pangidung. The question says, does building design, which also includes wood components, affect the severity of termite infestations? So how should IPM be implemented in homes, building, and what is the standard operating procedure for termiticide applications inside the building? I think it's already delivered by Prof. Hafiz. And the second would be, what do you think about the development nanotechnology-based anti-termite? I think it's interesting questions. Would coating technology, will it be more effective than other technologies? I think you can answer that concisely.
Thank you for the question. Basically, we have in our laboratory, we have tested several products that have a coated layer. Yes, but again, the cost. The lab testing, it worked well, even the nanotechnology. We did some testing on this furniture, the plywood that have been impregnated with this copper layer, and also this particular glue have this insecticide that been implemented. Yes, it worked well, but again, when we try to apply in a real scenario, the cost of the building increase. So again, it worked. To say it nice, to say it right away. Yes, impregnated, coated with this. Yes, it prevent. It's good. Yes, it work. But why people doesn't implement it in the real situation in the house? Because it increase the cost of the building. We are to highlight here also. We have done testing on termite mesh. We have tested several termite mesh layer that been used, and we tested in our laboratory and also semi-field application that termite mesh. Yes, it work. The termite doesn't penetrate the termite mesh, but again, when it integrated with the building structure in the bricks and also what, the costing of that house increase because that stainless steel mesh layer is very expensive. The one that we do in the lab and also semi-lab scale is small, but when we want to apply in the big bungalow house, then it costs the housing to be increased. So the question is that to you and also for pest control operator, how, yes, it's good in the lab, but it will lead to the high cost, and how we want to make sure that the cost reduce. So maybe some subsidize and so on, because this chemical compound, once impregnated with building structure, wooden material, it increase the cost of the building.
I see. I think it's an interesting talk, but we have a very limited time. And I have the next question probably from Mr. Lim.
Yeah, Prof.
Welcome, Mr. Lim. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, Prof. Prof. Hafiz.
Yeah.
I would like to know what is average grams required to kill a colony, especially on Coptotermis species.
For baiting from our test only took about 150 gram to 300 gram to eliminate the whole colony, just by putting a single active bait. Basically, if the house have like many in-ground motor station and all active and been infested by termite, been fed by termite, we just put only one station with the AI lah, with the IGR bait, with the bait. It only took about 150 to 300 gram. I think that's already enough to eliminate the whole termite colony for one single double story house lah.
The duration of treatment normally 4 to 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah. It depends on the colony size. From our data, only took around 2 to 6 weeks. The longest take 2 months, but basically on average around 4 weeks. 1 month already eliminate.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I think we have the next questions from chat from Tambau Sihaan, but I think the question for Prof. Hafiz first. How many year guarantee and warranty for end user in Malaysia informed by PCO? And the next question will be to Dr. Hemi. So the awareness yang disebut awareness di termite disebut di slide Bapak bahwa Dinkes melakukan 10 kali per tahun. Setahu saya untuk rayap di bawah dari Cipta Kerja atau di bawah Departemen PUPR, jadi memang ya menyedihkan. Awareness di kita untuk rayap sangat sedikit, campur tangan pemerintah. Ini masukannya Pak. Itu I think it's a suggestion for Pak Hemi. Yeah, so Prof. Hafiz, the question.
Usually in Malaysia, the warranty no more than 5 years. Standardized always 3 years. I think Mr. Hans also from Malaysian PCO. Usually 3 years is a general warranty that we provided. Most of the product, yeah. 3 years always the 3 to 5 years max. There are also some that give 5 years, usually 3 years.
Okay. So the next question from Andika Prasada. I think this is for Pak Hemi. If we can prioritize, what treatment should we push to community-based and ecological impact?
For Pak Andika, so I think it's a very important question. I think if you want to prioritize the best treatment for the practicality in case of our environment, Indonesian environment, I think the effective way to do pre-construction using liquid termiticide. I think Professor Hafiz mentioned about like repellent and non-repellent. In this case, I think I would like to share something. Also, maybe adding the answer to Mr. Lim as well. So let me share my. So like we can have like option like I mentioned like about the four type termiticide. Like you can choose the ingredient that not really easily reaching to the water environment inside the soil. So you can use like, of course, they have several options. Okay, we have like affinity to the rock, the soil, and also the least salt to the water, and you can choose the best treatment using this active ingredient. And also the least impact on ecological environment can use like bait system because it's really targeted on termite and not affecting beneficial organism inside the soil. So pre-construction, good pre-construction and post-construction using baiting will be the best option for our current environment. And further adding the information to Prof. Hafiz from Mr. Lim, recently we have this read this publication with like from Prof. Choyang. Okay, so the paper examined the efficacy of the active ingredient. Of course, it's mentioning about the commercial product, but this is the data from the paper. So this is the average days need for the baiting product to eliminate the termite colony. And also in this case, the data suggests like extreme is with the least, average day to need to be used for elimination, and also the consumption. This paper mentioned about this consumption, so you can refer to this publication if you want to examine the best option for your business. And I think that's all to Mr. Andika.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Dr. Hemi. We have next question from Gevi Zulmia Tilanur for Prof. Hafiz. So it's about the AI for identification, I think, Prof. Hafiz. So what do you think about AI for identifications?
Well, I have my colleagues from University of Sabah who do artificial intelligence to ID the mosquito, Aedes aegypti, Aedes albopictus. But currently also they have been developed for termite. I think it's still not been published yet because for termite, as Dr. Hemi also know, that we need to look at the mandibles because actually for Coptotemus genus, genus, there are a lot of Coptotemus species, Coptotemus castroi, Coptotemus cucurbitatus, Coptotemus calciovani, and many more. And some of these factors not just about the size, but actually looking at the size of the mandible. So unless we develop something that are more accurate to measure, then it can be used in using these tools for identification. But so far for termite, basically to help out for infestation to control strategy is by implement the IoT to the termite baiting station so far.
Okay, the second question, I think it asking your suggestion about the big warehouse treatment. So it's a Coptotemus issue, and then they want to solve the issue.
What's the question?
Yeah, it's a treatment using termiticide liquid and baiting doesn't work for Coptotemus, particularly for big warehouse. Do you have any information of research for big warehouse?
Well, but we did a big area. For example, like the USM Moss is big area, not just USM, another building nearby is one colony. Basically, we need to know is there a different termite colony or not. For example, Coptotemus, yes. Does that warehouse consist of only one colony or there's more than two colonies? Usually, one building structure, only one colony. But there are two colonies within the big area also. So that means that for this, that we need to know how many termite colony first, then we can determine the correct way on the treatment strategies.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we've come to the last questions from Mas Fauzan. Probably you question. I mean, you deliver a question. Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah. We have a question from offline here. Pak Fauzan.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to ask. I want to ask Mr. Abdul Hafiz. There is some thing that I asked about the termite breed. Because you say the using of the termite is surrounding the building. Surrounding the building. So I think there is 2 or 3 meter around the building. But in the experience that you have in Malaysia, say that one bait it can eliminate the all of the colony in the building. So I want to explaining the explaining about it for the further information about that.
I think he is asking about the distance that you mentioned
Oh,
on the
okay.
station, because it's probably 1 meter to 2 meters.
Yeah.
But you say that it's enough for only to use one bait.
Yeah. The distance that we use standardized in Malaysia always 1 feet to 1.5 feet. That means around 12 inch to 18 inch the distance. That's the standard practice that we use. Same also for the soil corrective treatment also, the one that we minimize the treatment. So basically the standard between one hole depend on the manufacturer recommendation or the label. So usually 12 inch to 18 inch, 1 kaki, 1 feet to 1.5 feet. Depend. There are also some product that claim can be distance up to 2 feet, 1 kaki, 2 kaki, 2 feet distance. But practically in Malaysia is around 1 feet to 1.5 feet.
Okay, so it depends on the product.
Yes, depend on the product.
Okay, I think. I see. Yeah. Okay, I think we still have questions or no? I think we already answered all the questions. Still have any questions here, Mr. and everybody, ladies and gentlemen? No? From online, no questions again? Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much for Prof. Hafiz. Let's give applause for Prof. Hafiz and also Dr. Himi. I think it's a really great talks from both of the speakers, and a lot of information as well we got from the speakers as well. And thank you very much for the chance. You visited these seminars as well, and we hope in the future that we can also visit it even that was held by probably University of Science Malaysia. But I have a take-home message here from both of the speakers as well, that termite management is a potential business, and I think those worth researching. Penelitian rayap itu sangat penting karena seperti apa yang dijelaskan oleh Pak Himi, uangnya sangat banyak, kemudian chance bisnisnya juga besar, dan juga saya rasa teman-teman di sini bisa memulai dengan riset yang fundamental. I think we can start with the fundamental research that already suggested by Prof. Hafiz, right? I mean, like knowing the type of soil, climate conditions, and species-specific treatment. I think that those all the required informations to make a good chemicals, and also to make a good treatment, I think. So, and also followed by the applications research, and also the experience from the expertise. I think that will be really important for the development of the chemicals, and also termite research, termite treatment in the futures. And the terakhir kolaborasi ya. I think the collaborations between researchers, government, pemerintah, peneliti, dan juga akademisi sangat penting, karena kita tahu tidak banyak lab yang dimiliki oleh PCO, oleh professional. You don't have many labs that probably to be used for many experiment. But in a university or probably in a research institution, we have those facilities, and those are open for everyone who want to make collaboration with us from the institution or the academics. Dr. Himi or also Prof. Hafiz from Malaysia. So it's open, and I think it can be collaborations between two countries as well, like Prof. Hafiz, Indonesia and Malaysia as well. It's not limited to the country limitations, I think. So that's all from me. Once again, I want to thank to Prof. Hafiz and also Dr. Himi. Thank you for coming. But before we end this event, I think we need to take a picture together. So please open your video camera together to I will capture your everyone's face together. Okay, we have 5 slides to be taken. So the first slide, wait a minute, I will. Okay, for the first slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the first slide's already taken. Now the second slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the third slide. Yeah, the third slide, no faces, really? Okay, no problem. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the fourth slide probably sleeping. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the fourth slide and the last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much. Terima kasih Prof. Hafiz, terima kasih Dr. Himi. I'll see you everyone in the next event of Research Center for Applied Zoology. Please check on the Instagram and please check on the Facebook. Silahkan cek di Instagram atau Facebook. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman Aspami yang sudah hadir, teman-teman
thank you
dari profesional yang sudah hadir, teman-teman akademisi yang sudah hadir, semuanya. Terima kasih sudah join. Untuk seminar selanjutnya bisa cek di Instagram dan juga di Facebook. Dan saya ucapkan juga untuk teman yang join di offline juga yang sudah hadir.
Yang penyelenggaranya apa?
Untuk materi silahkan Bapak Ibu bisa meminta ke narasumber masing-masing karena merupakan kekayaan intelektual dari masing-masing pembicara. Jadi saya tidak berani untuk nge-share secara umum. Jadi silahkan you can ask directly to the keynote speakers. So to the speakers, I'm sorry, not keynote but speakers. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Terima kasih.
Thank you, Prof. Hafiz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. See you again. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Dan terima kasih untuk semuanya.
Terima kasih Bapak. Terima kasih. 167, Bray. Luar biasa ya. Sayang nggak punya lab. Iya. Iya.